Sports and leisure activities began to develop during the late 1800s and early 1900s. The sports teams were now increasing in size, popularity, and improvement throughout its rules and regulations. Baseball, football, and basketball came into play as entertainment to the people. It also became a new fun place for the people to be able to support their town. As the lifestyle of the people began to change, advanced leisure activities started to establish.
During this time, workers in the United States began to have more leisure time. Vacations began to be offered to workers. People attended vaudeville shows, which would feature many acts. Shows often ran consecutively, so that workers at the theaters could come and go as they pleased. People liked Wild West shows. The most famous was Buffalo Bill. People also watched motion pictures for entertainment. As motion pictures became longer, they moved into storefront Nickelodeon theaters and then into even larger theaters. Outdoor activity remained popular as people attended county fairs and celebratory parades. The fairs featured agricultural products, machinery competitions, and rides. When it came to vacations, many people wanted to go far, and they wanted to go places that weren't in the city. Many went to beaches or the countryside. Also, resorts opened in the outskirts of the cities. Amusement parks opened in places such as Coney Island in New York, founded in 1897. This amusement park offered things such as rides, fun houses, scenes from foreign life, and the latest technology. National parks were created by the federal government in order to preserve nature and also to allow people to tour these areas for vacation. Yellowstone Park was a popular national park where people camped or stayed at hotels. Another popular event was World Fairs. This gave U.S. cities a chance to tour the world in one place. The fairs celebrated progress and featured exhibits of science and technology, foreign villages, shows, rides, and vendors. Leisure activities grew as people began to see the importance of exercise and health. At first, only the wealthy could partake in sporting events. The opening of public availability to gymnasiums, fields, and courts allowed the working and middle classes to also participate in these events. Another major thing that people did for fun is roller skate. The improvements of the roller skates made the trend become popular again during the turn of the century. It was very fashionable for the middle class and also for women to wear rollerblades.
Basketball was invented in 1891 in Springfield, Massachusetts. A YMCA instructor named James Neisman designed an indoor sport that enabled athletic competition during the winter months. His original idea was to knock a rock off an object by throwing another rock. The first team that was created were the New York Celtics. However, today they are known as the Boston Celtics. Baseball was one sport that rapidly became a national favorite. Cities started to dedicate a lot of the public land for recreational baseball as its popularity grew. Many wealthy people had the opportunity to pay for tickets and watch the games. The Cubs, Red Sox, White Sox, Reds, and Dodgers are some teams that were around in the 19th century and are still around today. The National League was formed in 1876, and the first World Series took place in 1903. Football was another sport that became a national favorite, particularly to the college level. The rules were not very strict, and there would be many injuries during the games. For example, in 1905, 18 players were killed by injuries related to football. The idea of football came from when soccer players were allowed to pick up the ball and run down the field to score. The rules were changed by Walter Champ when he decided that instead of 15 players on the field, there should be 11. Sports were originally divided by class. Wealthy amateurs would join elite athletic clubs and participate in expensive sports. Golf and tennis were very popular sports to the wealthy amateurs. By playing these sports, they gained recognition and social prestige.
In the year of 1896, the first of the modern-day Olympic Games had occurred between April 6th and April 15th. These games were set to take place in the Greek capital of Athens. This was able to happen due to the generous donations made by Greek businessmen such as George Averof. In these first Olympic Games, there were a total of 311 male competitors from 14 different nations across the world. There were not any women competing at these games until the next Olympics, which would come to take place in Paris, France. Out of the 43 different events at the 1896 Olympics, most of the competitors were Greeks who were intrigued by the games. Out of the 43 events, the Greeks wanted most to claim victory in the marathon race, and thanks to one of their runners named Cyprian Lewis, they were able to win. He set off from the city and was able to take the lead 4 kilometers away from the finish line, and to the joy of 100,000 spectators, he won the race by more than 7 minutes. The first place winners of an Olympic event were awarded with a silver medal, an olive branch, and a diploma. Those who came in second were awarded a copper medal, a branch of laurel, and a diploma. One of the more difficult events that took place in these Olympics occurred in the Bay of Z. This was where the swimming events were held. They were made difficult by the 13 degrees Celsius water and towering waves that slowed down the swimmers. This race was started by the swimmers being dropped off by boat into the cold water, then having to swim back to shore to the finish line. Some of the more popular sports that took place at the 1896 Olympics were the more athletic events such as gymnastics, swimming, running, cycling, wrestling, and weightlifting. Without the work of French educator Baron Pierre de Coubertin, the revival of the Olympics might not have been possible. He believed that physical fitness and sports were important keys to the development of young people. He also believed that the Olympics could be used as a symbol of peace by bringing together people from all over the world from different nations in a friendly competition.